one 30-second video, but then I'm going to talk to you about why it was different from a social media perspective. Just a little background on Old Spice. Old Spice was in record decline for a lot of their products. It was considered an old brand. It was some deodorant or cologne that your dad or your grandfather would use. And so they had a big marketing issue, so they decided to run this marketing program.
Hello, ladies. How are you? Fantastic. Does your man look like me? No. Can he smell like me? Yes. Should he use Old Spice body wash? I don't know. Do you like the smell of adventure? Do you want a man who smells like he can bake you a gourmet cake in the dream kitchen he built you with his own hands? Of course you do. Swan dive into the best night of your life. So, ladies, should your man smell like an Old Spice man? You tell me.
Okay, so those commercials were developed by their regular agency, Wieden and Kennedy, and they also do a lot of Nike stuff, Wieden and Kennedy. So it did run on regular television. And what they saw, because they were listening, they saw that this guy was gaining popularity. And so they said, what do? They listen, then they interact. They started talking to people, why do you think he's funny? They go, we just like the way his demeanor is, and he's just a funny guy. It'd be great if we could see more of him. So they listened, they interacted, and then they reacted. Within a week, they said, okay, let's take advantage of this through social media. So they said, why don't you send in tweets to us about what you want the Old Spice guy to do? And so they received hundreds of thousands of tweets came in from, I want him to propose to my girlfriend, to what would he do if he won the World Cup trophy, what would he do with the World Cup trophy? And they hand-selected about 180 of these tweets. And they had the guy respond, the actor come in, and over the course of a week film 180 30-second replies that then pushed back out on YouTube to these tweets that came in. And so what was the result? #1 viewed channel on YouTube for 2 months. This is Old Spice, a deodorant, a dead brand. #1 viewed channel on YouTube with over 50 million views. But then their sales also increased for that product 107% because of this program. So it's a very effective use of social media. And so what they do, they listened, they interacted, they reacted, and they sold. And again, I just want to thank everyone for having me in here today. I appreciate you guys having me in here. And we'll open up for some questions and answers, and I'm going to be here for the next couple hours, so hopefully I get to interact with some of you guys on a one-to-one level. But if you do nothing else, there's 2 words within social media. If you have passion and common sense, you're going to have a lot of success within social media. So I just want to obrigado to everybody, and hopefully we'll open up for some questions and answers. Thank you.
Ok, se vocês tiverem então perguntas, por favor escrevam nos bilhetes, nos papéis que foram entregues a vocês junto nas pastas no início do evento e podem entregar para as meninas de vermelho que a gente lê aqui e faz a pergunta para o Erik Qualman, ok? Eu tenho uma pergunta aqui já.
Okay. Yeah. So, if Brazil is the most successful,
A pergunta é se o Brasil é o país mais social de todos, por que você acha que existem tão poucos casos bem-sucedidos, então, de mídia social? A pergunta é do Alessandro Caldulo da W3 House.
So my hope is, after talking today, like we mentioned in the one video, is that if we look 2 months, 3 months out from here, that we will have a lot of success cases out of Brazil. I guarantee that that's going to happen. If you look at the United States, which a lot of these examples are from, is that they didn't have those right away. So a year ago, people were asking, does it really produce an ROI? And so that's why we put together that video about 6 months ago. Is that sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but then once you start to see that momentum take off, you'll start to see those successes within social media. So it'll be really interesting to see that. One thing I do recommend is when you go out there within social media or anything online, the beautiful thing about online is to beg, borrow, and make better. So if you see an Old Spice campaign, start to think, how can I do something similar like that? And so you can actually borrow the idea and change it about 10 to 15% based on your marketplace or based on your product. So don't try to invent the wheel. A lot of this stuff's already out there that you can borrow from.
O que levará o Brasil a ter o nível de Socialnomics nos Estados Unidos? Juliana, do Walmart.
Yep. So the beneficial thing is that your users are already on social media, so that's a huge benefit for Brazil. Also, you're very open in terms of, if you look at, I just came from Istanbul, Turkey last week, and the government blocks YouTube in Istanbul, in Turkey. They block YouTube, but it's still the 4th most visited site within Turkey, even though it's blocked, they can get around it. But the government's thinking about blocking Facebook in Turkey as well. So a huge upside to Brazil is Brazil is one of the leaders in terms of open source software and also just keeping things open. So that's a huge step in the right direction. Also, your users are already engaged. You see that they're on Twitter, Orchid, and also Facebook. So it's not going to take much for this country to catch up in terms of what the U.S. has shown success-wise. And so it'll be easy to see success happen within Brazil. So I don't think it's going to take much for Brazil to be one of the leaders in the world in terms of social media. So that's why I was excited to come in here, because everyone uses all the tools.